Good day, brothers and sisters. This is your brother Rams here, and glad to be back out on the airwaves, passing on this knowledge to my brothers and sisters all across America and all across the world. Whoever have YouTube can get in contact with me. But as always, I start off by trying to say thank you to all my subscribers out there and all my followers. I appreciate your feedback, and it really inspires me. But I'm also humbled by it, and I'm thankful to Almighty God for your support. Um, as always, one of the things I say to you, when you get this knowledge, don't just keep it to yourself. Pass it on. Let folks know that there's a brother on YouTube named Brother Rams who's got some hard-hitting topics to talk about that could actually save America, black, all the people, black, white, and everybody in between. So don't just keep this knowledge to yourself. Pass it on. That's the most important thing to me. That means a lot to me. And like I said, I appreciate all your support, and I'm thankful, and I'm deeply humbled by it. But before we get into the political sauce, I just want to ask one question. Has anybody seen Kash Patel live? I'm just asking the question, news media. Where's Kash Patel? You never see him no more. Now, I only would be speculating, but I think it might have something to do when he got bought to Capitol Hill and he was taking these lavish trips on the FBI private jets and going to the Pearl Harbor Memorial, going swimming over there, which really is hallowed ground, and he's flying all over the world. But when he got brought up on the Hill, the Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana questioned him, said, "You better have some receipts for all these trips you're using up the government's money, flying around, wasting taxpayers' money." But I'm gonna tell you, if you've seen Kash Patel, if you look on the milk box or something, but he's nowhere to be seen live. You see still photos of him, but you don't see him. But right now, again, like I said, we're getting ready to get into the political sauce here, and this topic's gonna be again. It's a continuation of a topic I talked about before, and it's about President Trump's uh, chaos and confusion, and that was part two. Well, this is President Trump's chaos and confusion, part three, because it continues. And one of the things I want to start with is one of the greatest crimes, the second greatest crimes. Let me put it in proper perspective. The second greatest crime, in my opinion, is about to occur. And that crime is the first crime was the insurrection, where a sitting president sent a group of thugs, hoodlums, insurrectionists, seditionists down there to attack the White House, uh, to transfer power, and to even possibly kill his own vice president, Mike Pence. That was the first greatest crime. That was crime one of the 21st century. Now, the second greatest crime is about to happen right now. What's that, Brother Rams? The second greatest crime is now we're trying to get our president. I mean, not we, but the president is trying to now get money for those thieves and convicted felons. He wants the taxpayers to reimburse them for trying to overthrow the government. And that brings me to his lawyer. His lawyer is Todd Blanche. That's Todd Blanche. And we're going to get into the Todd Blanche situation. And I'm saying to you, America, right now, you getting ready to watch one of the greatest crimes committed against America, in my opinion. Stealing the American taxpayers' dollars to pay for criminals who attacked Capitol Police. Some died, hundreds wounded, many of them retired. Now, this hits home to me personally because I have family that was a Capitol Police. And this cousin explained it to me what was happening that day. It was brutal, man. It was very brutal. And a lot of those police officers, they did not come back. They retired. They walked away because of the lack of support that they got. And now President Trump is trying to pay those people who attacked them. Damnedest thing I've ever seen. Using tax dollars, American tax dollars. And America, now is the time to step up and stop this great steal of the American people's money. Again, this is in my opinion, but you see it for yourself. Don't be blind. This is a great crime that's about to be committed. And it's starting with Donald Trump's personal attorney, so-called acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. So let's take a look into Mr. Todd Blanche, because this is very, very important, because they're getting ready to commit serious, serious crimes against America. For the second time, Todd Blanche, there have been judicial inquiries into his behavior. Judicial inquiries. That means they check it. A judge has ordered people to check this out, check him out. These inquiries are centered on his handling of Trump-related cases, allegations of misleading statements to courts, lying, misleading statements. That's, a nice, polite, professional way of saying lying to the court. Now, when you're a lawyer, you can't lie to the court. You're an officer of the court, regardless of who your client is. You cannot lie to the court. So there's judicial inquiries because of him making, as they say, misleading statements. Brothers and sisters, we from the corner now. We got better sense than that. Sapsuckers lying. All right? And ethics complaints. Mr. Magoo can see that. For you old heads, Mr. Magoo couldn't see worth a damn. Ethics. How you gonna be his personal lawyer and then be Attorney General? They even caught the sapsucker on TV making a Freudian slip. Remember? You saw it. It said, he started by saying, I'm Donald Trump's lawyer. And he said, I used to be his lawyer. Freudian slip, because he still is his lawyer. And that's an ethics violation right there. You can't be my personal lawyer, then be the Attorney General, the lawyer for the whole country. This is an ethics violation. And here's some key points about Todd Blanche and why he shouldn't be confirmed. First is judicial referrals. There was a judge in Florida. It was a U.S. District Judge named Kathleen Williams. Criticized a manipulated court settlement involving Trump, IRS lawsuit, and referred to Blanche's conduct to the National Bar for potential disciplinary action. Let's take a look at that, what I just said. A U.S. District Judge in Florida, her name was Kathleen Williams, criticized a manipulated court settlement. Manipulated. Flim flam, damn it. You know the word. Manipulate. See, again, trying to be professional, but listen, baby, I'm from the corner. I know BS when I see it. Now you can, like they say, you can try to make chicken salad out of chicken doodoo, but you can't. Now, I don't care how much oregano, paprika, all that other stuff you put in the end, it's still chicken doodoo. She criticized a manipulated court settlement between Trump and the IRS. Remember, his initial thing was $10 billion. And she referred Blanche's conduct to the New York Bar for potential disciplinary action. The judge says this dude's a fraud. What in essence is you can't sue yourself. And in a lawsuit, you got to have two adverse sides. This is what legal people have told me. I didn't go to law school, but I know how to talk to people who are lawyers and find out what's the nuts and bolts of this case. And they say it's not simple, but it's simple. You cannot sue yourself. And in a law case, two adverse sides. I got a dispute with you. You got a dispute with me. So we have a case. But here we are. Trump on one side and Trump on the other side. The Trump lawyers on one side because of the IRS, and then the Trump lawyer, Todd Blanche, on the other side. The judge said, no, no, that's some shenanigans. Florida Judge Kathleen Williams, please, if you're listening, help stop this steal because it's a great crime about to be committed here. They're trying to confirm Todd Blanche in the Senate. And two senators that had held out, Tom Tillis and John Cornyn, they folded like a cheap suit. And I'll tell you why they folded like a cheap suit. They wanted something in writing that said that it's dead and the tax break for his family. And as long as there's something in writing there, they'll be happy. Let me tell you the game. It was a game. The paper. So, of course, now you're talking to a lawyer about coming up with a piece of paper. That's all lawyers do is write pieces of paper. So he wrote up some BS. And as they say, what he wrote up wasn't worth the paper it was written on. He he appeased them with something that, in essence, legally could easily. There were loopholes all through it where they could now still bring back the fund and the unlimited no, excuse me, the very limited prosecution of the Trump family. Now, I'm going to tell you the real story in this. The real story in this, first of all, with the immunity, that's the biggest thing, brothers and sisters. He cannot have immunity after. He has to be able to be charged because right now he's stealing. His businesses are stealing and it's illegal. And he doesn't want in the future for the Democrats to dig into and find out that he did some illegal tax stuff. Oh, by the way, uh, it's not defamation because right now his tax attorney, he's in jail at Rikers Island in New York. His main man, his main accountant is in jail. Just a reminder. I think his last name is Weisberg or something like that, but he's in jail in Rikers Island in New York. His tax attorney. So, not to let that happen again, he wants total immunity from prosecution for his taxes, his businesses, his children. In other words, let me steal as much as I can and don't be punished. That's all that's saying. America, you cannot let this happen. That's part of the deal that Todd Blanche is negotiating for him. And like I said, judges all over the country, when they're gonna confirm him, they're gonna confirm him because Tillis and Cornyn folded like cheap suits. But I tell you, they had their own reason why. Why, Brother Rams? Because what happens is Trump threatened them with this. Even though one's retiring and one's lost in the primary, they still get the right to become Senate lobbyists. Very, very lucrative. After your career is over, you can come back as a lobbyist, which is what I say is one of the biggest problems in American politics. The lobbyists. And now recently the Supreme Court, holy smokes, instead of controlling the lobbyists, they're saying now you can throw as much money as you can at Congress. That's fixing the election. That's corruption. That's corruption, brothers and sisters. That's as corrupt as a $3 bill. That's corruption. That's drain the swamp, baby. You can't let the lobbyists have as much money as they want. You can't. So I had to add that piece in there. That's why Cornyn and Tillis folded up. Because they're looking at the future. Even though they may not be in office because Tillis is retiring. But he wants that right to be able to go on and still be a Senate lobbyist and make unlimited amount of money. But here's another continuing about Todd Blanche. We have to have congressional oversight. Senator Adam Schiff and other lawmakers launched inquiries into Blanche's reported disregard of DOJ ethics directives. Of course, this is an ethics violation. It's as obvious as the nose on your face. And this requires, brothers and sisters, this requires his recusal. He had to step aside. It requires his recusal from personal matters concerning Donald Trump. He was supposed to recuse himself, but he didn't. That's an ethics violation. And the third piece here is document and temporary probes. Committees and watchdog groups have questioned Blanche's regarding the withholding of millions, and here we go, of records related to Jeffrey Epstein. Total disrespect for the victims. And as I say right now, as I always say to the Epstein victims, don't you dare stop fighting. You keep fighting. You keep letting them know that you're not going anywhere, and that even though Todd Blanche might get in, he more than likely will. Unfortunately, more than likely will. We need you sisters to keep stepping up, sticking together, and bring him to the forefront. Because in the midterms coming up, he's going to be brought to the forefront. I promise you that. You're going to see that, my brothers and sisters. You're going to see that. That's part of the Trump chaos and confusion as it continues in America. His chaos and confusion over the slush fund for criminal friends, for immunity for his whole family. That's confusion. No one gets that. You don't get that. They can go back on your taxes anytime and audit you and force you to pay back taxes. Why should he be above the law? Because what that happens is now, as he's stealing while he's in the White House with his corruption, while he's taking all this stuff, he don't want it to come back and bite him in the behind. So he's trying to close that door. And America don't let him do it. Because it's going to be your tax dollars. It's going to be your tax. And I'm not talking about the slush fund. I'm talking about the tax immunity. That's the real carrot that he wants. He could care less about the money. He said that they deserve it, but he could care less about that. But right now, we getting ready to go to another area of chaos and confusion caused by our president. The Iranian war. Uh-oh, the Iranian war. There's no end in sight. Trump keeps talking about a deal to happen any day now. But he does this to play with the stock market, all right? Because remember, he's heavily invested in the stock market. He's invested in all these companies now. He done put his money, that 1.4 billion he done scraped up, he done put in his pocket since coming into office. Now he's invested in all these companies. So he plays with the stock market. And the stock market is based on him saying, the war's about to end. No, it ain't. It's about to end. No, it ain't. So if stocks go up, he makes money. So that's what he does when he says that a deal's about to be made. Ain't no deal about to be made. Because he's invested in several major companies on the stock market. So that's what I want you to understand, brothers and sisters. That's the scheme. That's the chaos and confusion. But the war continues to drain our economy. Gas still going up. Inflation going up. Can't buy a home. Interest rate highest they've been in a while. Almost 7%. And here's the other piece. Our stockpile of advanced weaponry has been seriously depleted. It's sad sometimes, but it has been seriously depleted. He's mad because the puppet he got is the Secretary of Defense. He's just puppeting. Oh, we got plenty. We got plenty. No, you don't. No, you don't have plenty. A lot of reports from different news outlets, Wall Street Journal and Washington and New York Times, all them folks are saying your stockpile of those advanced weapons is depleted. Some military experts claim that it would take at least 3 years to restock those advanced weapons. At least 3 years. But this, to me, points out three major weaknesses in our military. First and foremost, mass production of the weapons is a problem in any sustained conflict. We've only been at war for 6 months, but right now our advanced weaponry is getting real low. It's getting real low, brothers and sisters. So if you got into a sustained fight with America, they're gonna run out of bullets in essence. The high quality bullets. So mass production of these weapons is a problem because we can't mass produce them. It takes time. But there's another problem with that of the three problems. The next problem becomes, brothers and sisters, the next problem that becomes is America simply does not have the physical manufacturing plants to mass produce these weapons. They physically don't have the plants. So there's only a few places that would produce them. That becomes a problem because, again, if we get into a sustained conflict, you'd have to have mass production. This ain't like World War I and World War II, and we can convert little factories into. It's a whole different ball game, baby boy. It's a whole different ball game now. But again, because of Trump's chaos and confusion, causing the Department of Education, look how this already, see all these cuts that they did, they coming home to roost. And I'm going to show you how it all connects. All these Doge cuts and all that stuff, there's a connection now. See, you thought that when him cut all them jobs, federal jobs, that they would just disappear and would have no effect. Now you're going to see the effect of them. Here's one of them right now, chaos and confusion. When he cut the Department of Education, all right, he dismantled it with these massive budget cuts. But these massive budget cuts were also in STEM education. What's STEM? Science, technology, energy, and math? Engineering, excuse me. Science, technology, engineering, and math. But massive budget cuts. Resources aren't there for these type of classes for our children. That money went to billionaires' pockets. So even if we wanted, we don't have the workers. Now that's coupled with another fact, chaos and confusion. Again, continues how it affects America. Chaos and confusion by our president. You couple this with the deportation of highly educated and skilled foreign students, America simply does not have enough skilled workers to work in these manufacturing plants. You don't have enough skilled workers. You simply don't. You don't have enough skilled workers. So you can't mass produce them. You don't physically have the area, and you don't have the skilled workers. So a sustained conflict will damage America. Now you can take that or let it alone. I'm just looking at the logistical facts. And again, because there were never any clear-cut military objectives, America has no exit strategy. So she's in an endless war, chaos and confusion. We'll do this, we'll do that. The deal is on, the deal ain't on. Chaos and confusion continues by our president. And you see it, as I've said. And they're dealing with Todd Blanche because he wants immunity for his family while they steal as much as they can out of the White House. Chaos and confusion. Slush fund for criminals who attack Capitol Police. And as I said, I have family that was a Capitol Police at that time, and they retired. Like many officers did after that, they retired. And you Republicans stand up for the blue? Blue Lives Matter where? Where? Where are you standing up? And you allowing this foolishness. It's crazy. They have no exit strategy. So we're just flailing around, chaos and confused, putting American soldiers at danger. They're not telling you how many been actually wounded. They're not telling you that. Serious amount of American soldiers have been wounded. It's a disgrace. Chaos and confusion here in America continues. And we're like some of the laughing stock of the world. We're like the laughing stock of the world, brothers and sisters. But now, here again, these nitwits who are in the White House, Trump and his acolytes and sycophants and lackeys, guess what? With, again, massive budget cuts for the tax break for who? The rich. Has left America vulnerable. How, Brother Rams? You seeing it now. Iran, they're not playing that conventional warfare. They're not doing that. They're attacking our water system now. Over 12 states and counting. They're attacking our water system. This is a trial run. They're attacking our water system. And the first thing, lack of knowledge president, oh, what's his famous word? I'll use it on him. His low IQ, this low IQ president. He blames Minnesota. Now it comes to find out it's spreading all over. And again, they found out Iran is behind it. See, that's another stage of war that, we're not ready for. Oh, really? That's why you don't go to war. Because war entails a lot of different things. And again, massive budget cuts in cybersecurity at a time when we've gone to war with someone who's had a history of tampering with our cybersecurity. Massive layoffs. And the agencies that are responsible for it is it's called CISA. It's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agent, CISA. And its two main divisions. Again, CISA is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. And it has two main figures. There's civilian cybersecurity, and that's controlled by a gentleman named Nick Anderson. Okay? That's the civilian part of cybersecurity. So, Nick, get on the job, buddy. Remember, there's been massive layoffs. There's been massive layoffs and budget cuts. So he's trying to hold it together, CISA, with strings and a Band-Aid. Meanwhile, all our systems are vulnerable, the civilian ones. And then there's the military and intelligence cyber defense, and that's controlled by General Joshua Red. He commands the U.S. Cyber Command and directs the National Security Agency. General Joshua Rudd. General Joshua Rudd. That's one in charge of the military and intelligence cybersecurity. Again, they're attacking us, brothers and sisters. They are attacking us. But see, the President Trump's administration does not understand or doesn't want to understand that Iran is not fighting a traditional war. They're not. You got bombs, airplanes, ships, submarines, and I just overwhelmed me. That's why we obliterated them. We sent them to the bottom of. They don't do that no more, baby. That's outdated. These little countries don't fight like that no more. Do you see Ukraine fighting like that? You see them sending airplanes to Russia? No, they don't. They fight a whole different warfare against the invader, the huge invader. They fight a different style. You know, bombing, air superiority. We fly anywhere we want. But a lot of the people is Iran's playing the long game on you, baby. They're playing the long game. They're using hit and run tactics. And what's their goal? They're trying to drag this war into the midterm elections. See? And inflict as much economic pain on America as possible. That's what they're doing. They're not here to fight conventionally. Most of them people now are living underground. They've been preparing for it. Remember? They're living underground and in the mountains. And guess where they got that strategy types from? They got that from the Vietnamese. Remember the Vietnamese? America bombing. Big old B-52 bombing everything. They living underground. They went underground, the Vietnamese. They later found out they had massive tunnels underground where you can drive trucks around in there. So you could have 1,000 people over here 1 second, and next you know, the same 1,000 be over there. Vietnam. And also like Iraq and Afghanistan did to Russia and America using them bombing tactics. What did they do? They simply went into the mountains and hid inside the mountains. And again, use hit and run on them. Ask some of the soldiers who fought in Afghanistan and Iraq. Very difficult, long, prolonged war. Look like we're in another one, aren't we? See, now Iran is engaging in cyber warfare, taking aim at the U.S. water supply and wastewater utilities. The water supply and wastewater utilities in at least 12 states, targeting, targeting their operational technology. Targeting their operational technology. Shutting this down, not allowing this, adding this when it ain't supposed to be there. So now a lot of these folks have gone to manual. But even then, that won't help them, because if they can still control electronically, if they don't have someone there 24 hours watching it, this is a test run. 12 states at least, and it's growing, who've said, and Iran is the main culprit. You shouldn't be shocked. They've had a history of attacking our infrastructure, our cyber network. They've had a history, brothers and sisters. This is not a stage joke, brothers. This is not a stage joke. Okay? Again, Trump's chaos and confusion continues. Let's see how it's affected the healthcare system. See, it's affected us economically, the war. It's affected us as far as trying to get a slush fund for criminals to protect the president against his stealing like he's doing right now, pocketing millions and billions of dollars, making money off the presidency. Again, unethical. Again, let's see the chaos and the confusion in the healthcare system. The Trump administration chaos continues in our healthcare system, with Trump administration cutting federal subsidies to, get this, Medicare. Remember, oh, I'm not going to touch Medicare. That's all safe. Lying. Part D, which is Part D, to take effect in 2027. Again, it's kicked down the road. You won't feel it until next year. And it will lead to what? Higher monthly premiums for millions of seniors nationwide. But what is Medicare Part D? That's the government's health insurance program for prescription drugs. It's the health insurance program for prescription drug benefits. You elderly, a lot of us have different diseases, chronic diseases, so we need medicine on a constant basis. We need medicine, but we can't get it because Trump cut them subsidies out. He cut them out for Part D. Now, you can pick up other supplemental, but it's going to cost you. Okay? Again, higher premiums, this will mean, and higher prescription drugs. Chaos and confusion, brothers and sisters. Chaos and confusion. Again, let's see how it affects our health care. It affected first Medicare. Now, like I said, this cutting of Medicare Part D leading to confusion, because how am I going to get my drugs? I'm a 70-year-old man in Arkansas. I need my prescription drugs. Excuse me. I need my prescription drugs. Where am I going to get them? I don't have the money for that. I just live on a little Social Security. Confusion, chaos. Where do I go? I need the drugs. Does that mean now I can't pay rent? Chaos and confusion continues in America, caused by our president. Let's look at this one. Again, in the healthcare system. The United States has experienced a major surge in measles, recording over 2,300 cases in 2026 alone. Now remember, 2026 ain't over. 2,300 cases of measles has pushed infection levels to a 35-year high. Good God Almighty. A 35-year high of measles. At one time in the early part of this century, measles was just about eradicated. Not no more. Not no more, brothers and sisters. It's destruction. Remember two facts. Trump was the president when COVID hit America in 2019 and in 2020. And in his wishy-washy leadership pertaining to mask wearing and vaccinations, in my opinion, resulted in nearly 1 million American dead. That's when he was the last time he was president because he didn't believe in certain health issues. Now there's those who say, well, remember, he was in charge of warp speed. He took credit for it. See, that's his thing. He won't do the work, but he'll take credit. The real people behind that was the American Medical Association, brothers and sisters. They were the real ones. And the research that was being done. That today wouldn't be done because he would have cut that type of research. You know, Harvard and all them doing medical research? That's what helped save America in the COVID days. He took credit for Operation Warp Speed. No. Because remember, he didn't want to wear a mask, and he didn't want you to do vaccinations. And that's part of the problem now. Now, with Trump as the president, what you call? We have a 35-year high in measles. Corona, first term, second term, measles, and all other kind of outbreaks. And we're going to get into that. Again, chaos and confusion continues in America. I said in the healthcare field. And then a particular part of the healthcare field is the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. And now we've had a couple of outbreaks. And again, let's look at why. Because you can't have massive cuts at the FDA, massive cuts, and don't think it's not going to have an effect. Here's the effect, brothers and sisters. Remember now, there's a couple of outbreaks going on in our food. First, I'll talk about Cyclospora. It's a microscopic single-cell parasite that causes an intestinal illness. That intestinal illness is cyclosporosis. Cyclosporosis. This parasite causes with very extreme cramping. Trump lacks understanding of FDA, what the FDA does, and how it's vital to food and drug safety. He lacks understanding. What this does in America. This confusion has led to massive budget cuts affecting 3 areas. Affecting 3 areas. Again, staffing and workforce reduction. Wiped out. Mass firings, support system lost, people who do work for those who have to. It's like the inspectors got to go certain places. They set up the transportation. They do different things. All that staffing stuff is gone. Support staff is gone. The staff itself is gone. Institutional knowledge. You fire experienced people, then that's left with what? If there's any left, they're inexperienced. So staffing and workforce reduction. The second And that's that cyclospora. Cyclosporiasis. But there's also the salmonella. The salmonella breakout. The salmonella breakout, brothers and sisters. We got cyclosporiasis. That comes from the lettuce. And the salmonella is now coming from the jalapeno peppers. And then, again, they were imported from Mexico. And I'm going to talk about this in a second. They were found at Chipotle and Qdoba Mexican fast food chains, spreading all over the country. Salmonella and cyclosporiasis. Again, now let's see how it relates since these budget cuts came in. Again, like I said, the reduction in the workforce, staffing and workforce. The second thing is food safety and testing. Here's where the cyclosporiasis and the salmonella come in with the confusion that and chaos that Trump has created at the FDA. Food and safety testing. What it has done is it reduced testing funds. So when we got to run tests on certain things, that money's not there. No money for testing. And here's the key. Brothers and sisters, here's the key. Put this together now. It weakened surveillance, halted or scaled back prominent tracking programs, and get this, international safety coordination. See? There's supposed to be a certain amount of coordination internationally with this food being brought in, this produce from Mexico, like lettuce, like jalapenos. That's not there no more. Chaos and confusion continues. So America now is sick. Chipotle, Qdoba, lettuce from Taco Bell. And in the South, in the Midwest, a lot of these folks have a lot of these, their economies based on these fast food chains. So it's hit them hard quickly. But again, it weakened the surveillance, brothers and sisters, or halted or scaled back prominent tracking programs and international safety coordination. This is what it has done. These massive cuts and confusion has caused inspection gaps. It created vulnerabilities in monitoring, get this, in monitoring high-risk goods like dairy, infant formulas, you've heard that, and imported produce, like the lettuce and the jalapenos that we get from Mexico. There's inspection gaps. Cause serious problems. Cause serious problems, brothers and sisters. And it's put America in danger. It has put America in danger. We're less safe now. Because our cybersecurity is weak. Our food and drug is weak. We're eating food that could kill us as the continuing chaos continues. The chaos and confusion continues. brought about by this administration. And then finally, what these massive cuts that the FDA has done is medical and drug oversight. It slowed reviews, you know. They've slowed down the times for generic drugs, okay, before it can hit the market, okay? Something's supposed to hit the market, but it's been dragged on because it's got to be reviewed before it's put on the market. But if you slow that down, the drug don't get put on the market. Biological and medical devices evaluation. We got a device here that could possibly do better in surgery for us, but we can't test it. We got to have it evaluated before it's approved by the FDA. That's all slowed down with the massive losses of personnel. Again, what is it again? It becomes what? It becomes chaos and confusion. Lab testing cuts. In the lab, they test certain things for certain things. Cut. None of that around. So again, we are vulnerable. And user fee strain. There's a user fee strain, brothers and sisters. So I just want to say to you that we're in a very dangerous situation here in America. This chaos and confusion has caused problems in our health care. It's caused problems with our FDA, with the food we eat. It's caused problems in terms of our economy. We're at war. We got a deal. We don't have a deal. Chaos and confusion. No exit strategy from an endless war. American soldiers being wounded. They hiding how many have actually been wounded. We're running out of ammunition, advanced weaponry. Again, that's a big weakness because you get into a sustained attack and you have to use those advanced weapons. See, we got plenty of the little stuff, short range, little bit of this, but the advanced defense weapons, the interceptor missiles and the Tomahawk missiles and all that, that's a lot of money. And you don't build that overnight. So this administration has cut off its nose to spite its face because with these Doge cuts, they cut all the things that would protect us. They cut all the things that would protect us. So we're less safe now through this chaos and confusion as it continues. And as long as it keeps continuing, the chaos and confusion will continue. But right now, your brother. I got to turn to a little black history. Got to turn to a black history. We got to have some because it's important that this message gets out. That the message gets out, brothers and sisters. And one of the first people I want to talk about is a sister, doctor. Beautiful sister, sharp sister. Her name is Dr. Alexa Canady Davis. Dr. Alexa Canady Davis. She was born November 7th, 1950 in Lansing, Michigan. In 1981, excuse me, brothers and sisters. In 1981, Alexa Canady became the first female African American neurosurgeon, good Lord, in the United States. In 1981, she became the first female African-American neurosurgeon in the United States. Our sister. See, I highlighted her because, see, America got one main thing about us. As long as we dunking the basketball and running track and singing, and our sisters on there gyrating and shaking, we happy with that. We're happy with that. We're comfortable. But when you see one of them black women stand up, showing the mental power they have. Neurosurgeon, damn it. She ain't no Johnny-come-lately scientist. Black woman, strong, mentally strong. First neurosurgeon in the United States, Dr. Alexa Kennedy Davis. That's her name. Tell your children. Let them know the power of the black woman. Yeah, she's shaking, she's beautiful. She has to be. She's the mother of civilization, damn it. She got all of it. From the head, top of her head to the tip of her toes. Physical and mental. Dr. Alexa Kennedy Davis. Okay? In 1976, she became the first black female resident in the U.S. She got a BS degree in zoology. What is zoology? It's the study of animals. And in 1975, got her medical degree from the University of Michigan. Dr. Alexa Kennedy. Go ahead, sister, do your thing. Now I got a brother. Gotta have some brothers now. We not just ball players and singers and dancers and rappers. Oh, there's so much more to the original man. The Asiatic black man. And I'm going to mention a brother now. His name is Otis Boykin. What? Yeah, brother, Otis Boykin. He was born in 1920 in Dallas, Texas. He died in 1982 in Chicago, Illinois. And what he's famous for, one of the things he's famous for, he developed electronic resistors. Listen to what he did. He developed electronic resistors. Well, what's electronic resistors for? Guess one of the main things it's used for? It's used for guided missiles. You know the kind that America uses against against Iran? Those guided missiles? The brother came up with the resistors for that. Otis Boykin. Resistors for the guided missiles. Otis Boykin. He patented 26 devices. He created resistors for pacemakers. How many of y'all know someone with a pacemaker? The main thing of the pacemaker is the resistor. Guess who made it? Otis Boykin. And he made resistors for the IBM computer. Otis Boykin. He went to Fisk University, black school, and the Illinois Institute of Technology. Our brother Otis Boykin. Beautiful brother. But he had over 26 patented devices. Otis Boykin. Now I'm gonna shock all y'all with this one, cause you use this all the time, and you don't know this brother came up with this. Heavy brother, another heavy brother you know nothing about. See, this is why little Johnny, Petey, and Mikey in the Caucasian predominant schools need to hear these things, because they now have this distorted idea that they're the only ones that created anything. But if you actually can walk around the room and point to little Johnny, Mary, and Susie that a black man invented this, it creates a different thought process as to how they perceive those black children or child in their classroom. You know, as the only black child, as the only Hispanic child, you show them some part that Hispanic folks have invented. What? Black man invented the traffic light? Black man invented the fire extinguisher, the one that sits in the corner of the classroom, damn it! Frederick Marshall? But this brother, I'm gonna get down with him. This brother here, you don't even know his name, but you use him all the time. You know what you've seen his work, and his name is Emmett McHenry. What? Who's he? He's been born July 12th, 1943, in Forest City, Arkansas. Born July 12th, 1943, in Forest City, Arkansas. Founder, chairman, and CEO of Enterprise Magazine. You've seen Enterprise Magazine. It's the 10th ranked African American owned business in the country. He was an engineer and an entrepreneur and an internet pioneer. Listen to what I'm telling you. He's an internet pioneer. Now, this is what he did. He created the .com computer code. You know how that goes. .com, .org, .gov. That's him. Emmett McHenry. Learn his damn name when you're on the computer. You send a message to anybody. Emmett McHenry. He's the one who invented the .com, .gov, .org. And what he did was he commercialized the internet and made it accessible worldwide. That brother made it accessible worldwide, man. This man ain't no joke. Dr. Alexa Kennedy Davis, female neurosurgeon. Otis Boykin, resistance for the guided missiles. Emmett McHenry, .com, computer language, black history. Pass it on to your children. But before I close, I got a couple little things I want to point out. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to our brother Abdul El Said. Congratulations, brother. God bless you. You're facing some tremendous odds there, and if it's anyone who could try to bring bring Michigan together, I think you can. So I wish you the best of luck with that. But what I want you to notice is, as soon as he won, you saw the vitriol and the racist hatred come out of our president's mouth. You hear me? The racist vitriol that came out of our president's mouth. He hates Israel. He hates this. He hates that. He ain't hate nobody. Who's the main hater? Who's the main hater? You can't say that about our brother. And this is what I want to warn black people in particular about the situation that they're now saying about our brother Abdul El Said. Doctor, excuse me. No disrespect, doctor. I don't mean you. He's Dr. Abdul El Said. And he was with the public health. And he played a particular powerful role in Michigan during the COVID. He's an Egyptian. He's black. See, remember America? They want you to think Egyptian is some kind of Yul Brynner, light skin. No, he's black. Look at his features. He's an African. Just like if you're from Morocco, just like you're from Nigeria, just like you're from Sudan, you're an African. Egyptians are Africans. See, they're Africans. So I want you to know that about. But this is the trick we got to be careful of. It's an old trick they use on black people to confuse us. So I'm going to make you and pull your coat to this, okay, before I go. One of the things they use against us, black folks, is they call us communists. They readily throw that out. And I'm going to tell you why. It's a ploy to discredit you, obviously. But think about the tactics when they see that you want equality as far as housing, healthcare, education, jobs. They immediately label you a communist. Why can't they label you a capitalist? Because it ain't supposed to be equal. What do you mean it's not supposed to be equal? Because our Constitution says you're only supposed to be 3/5. So you can't be equal. And I point this out all the time. So they call you a communist because you want equal rights. It's a trick. They used it on guess who? Martin Luther King. Oh, yeah, the FBI. Oh, sounds familiar. FBI started saying he was a communist agitator. This is the words they used about Martin Luther King, one of the most peaceful black men in the annals of American history. Through the world. They called him a communist. He wasn't a communist, because communism has its problems too. We just want equality. We want to be able to have the same things as everybody else. So to quickly label you a communist, we don't want the socialists and the communists. And well, the way capitalism now is rigged, because why? It's rigged toward rich white men. It's not equal opportunity for everybody. No, it's not. It's rigged to favor rich white men. But that's not to say anyone can't make it. No, I'm not saying that. Anyone can make it, but it's favored toward white people. Now, you can take that or let it alone, but that's the truth. You look at the jobs, the high-paying jobs, housing, all those things, they use communism. But here was one of the biggest tricks, and I've mentioned this before, and I have to say it before I close this podcast. Eleanor Roosevelt. Let's look at her. Remember, I've always had an issue with black people calling their struggle for human rights civil rights. Where does that come from? I did some research and I found out some interesting things. Black people, and this is in the, let me see, in Eleanor Roosevelt was a major influence at the UN in the late 40s to the through the 50s. She was a very influential person in the UN. Okay? And she was considered, quote, a liberal back then. She was the Negro's liberal. But show you how you got to be very careful of your, quote, liberal friends, black people. This is Eleanor Roosevelt. The Negro leaders at the time had crafted a beautiful document that they were going to bring and present before the UN on human rights violations in America. They weren't talking about civil rights. Their issue was human rights. This wasn't no mistake. They were looking at human rights violations in America. And they were going to bring their case before the UN, which is what I had always advocated with Malcolm X has advocated. Bring America before the UN on human rights violation. How did we get stuck with the civil rights staying within the realm of civil rights? See, because civil rights means you have to stay within the jurisdiction of that country. If you say human rights to your brothers from all over the world can help you, but with civil rights, you have to stay within the jurisdiction of that country. But they had crafted this beautiful document they were going to present to America, in essence, showing how America had violated the human rights of the black man here in America. Eleanor Roosevelt, again, who had what you call influence in the UN, went to the Negro leaders and said this. This is what she did. This is critical. She told them, she said, listen, I don't want you to air America's dirty laundry before the world. So if you go there and talk about human rights, then and I'm gonna say that your beliefs are communist related. She threatened the Negro leaders, said that you're communists. And at the time, with uh, uh, Joe McCarthy coming on the scene, and this Red Scare, all of that, Negro leaders were in fear of that. They could not be labeled a communist. So she threatened them with that. She said, you do better if you just call it civil rights. And that changed the course of our history. So be careful of Caucasians pretending to be your friend. Pretend. And she turned around and turned and made the Negroes change from human rights to civil rights. And as a result, we've struggled ever since. So, my brothers and sisters, I just wanted to point that out. I just want to point that out. That's why you don't have human rights today. And again, here's the word to America before I close. You cannot let a convicted felon in the White House. Why? Because he's a criminal. He's a convicted criminal. And in the White House, you have access to so much inside information that as a criminal, you see what he's done. He and his family has gotten very, very rich very fast. The 14th Amendment was supposed to bar him. 14th Amendment, Clause 3, which says if you partake in any kind of insurrection, you're not to be eligible for the run for president. The guardrail was there. They took it down. Now we see who's in the White House now. We have someone who's a convicted felon in the White House, enriching himself and his family, and then wants immunity once he leaves, that you all can't bring him up on a tax audit. That's not how it goes, brothers and sisters. That's not how it goes. So we must stand up and fight right now, because Todd Blanche and him, they're about to try to take a lot of money from the American people, and I don't think it's right. So as I say, brothers and sisters, may God bless you, keep you safe, keep watching Brother Rams, pass this word on. Don't just, leave it for yourself. Pass it on, because we need to pass this on, because we're at a very critical crossroad. And as I said, this is President Trump's chaos and confusion continues, part 3. Thank you for listening. May God bless you.